Ukrainian filmmaker Sasha tries to decode England. With stage regular, actor-director Ben Hopwood and B5-backed Yorkshire filmmaker, producer Hugh Mann Adamson, meeting British TV actor Jay Kontzle to crack today's mystery, small talk in England, because Sasha gets fuck all. Hello, Sasha is here. I really hope you're gonna enjoy the pilot episode of Sasha Gets F All. Without further ado, let's go!
Ben, Sasha, I'd like to introduce the first ever guest for Sasha Gets F All, our pilot episode. It's my mate, Jay from Leeds.
Jay from Leeds, hey!
Hello.
Jay, you're a actor, producer, and an advocate. Tell us a bit more about who you are to our
I
audience.
just told everyone.
No, but it'd be great to get.
We want it in your glorious words.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to act. I did do a bit of producing, and I'm currently advocating as much as I can. So, but yeah, currently on Emmerdale. Been there for nearly 7 years now. My aspirations is to be a filmmaker, as well as obviously tying it in with the acting side of things. But I've always liked the creative side of things, and always pushed over the years that I've been alive to try and create things in different areas, not just obviously in the film and TV world, but within the music industry, and even designing things as well. I don't know what it is. I was talking to my wife about it the other day and said, "Do you ever have creative like moments where you just want to do something new?" She actually does, so it's not just me.
Yeah.
I think because I'm not stupid, but I'm not academically clever in at the top scale. I never really was concerned about other people's opinions because I think because I wasn't that in tune, and I was always kind of scatterbrain, and I was always teachers used to say, "Oh, you're not focusing on all this." It actually benefited me because I didn't really care what people thought. Even on the acting side of things, I like authenticity, realism, and naturalism. But I think you've got to be authentic. People read you we're animals, animal instincts. You can read people really well. You can see when someone feels uncomfortable. You can see when people.
That's a great
you know what I mean?
topic, because that's exactly what I want to
you're
talk
falling
You're
into
gonna say
that
what animal would you be? You're an animal.
Every time it's so much energy, and my gut feeling about small talk. Oh no, I have to do it again. It's like heavy lifting. It's like, yeah, you must do it. Why I'm talking like Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Heavy lifting, Schwarzenegger accent.
I do think that small talk comes from a place of wanting something. You kind of want to learn something. At the end of the day, you do small talk for your own social benefit, because obviously it enlifts you a little bit. You can learn something new. Like I've had, obviously we were talking. I was just talking about the a train situation and speaking to people on the train. Like I had a conversation with an older lady, and she was on the way to an art gallery in London, and we got chatting, and she used to work at a high school, and she was talking about it's just inspirational chat and a very philosophical, the words that she was coming out with was I'm learning loads from her that kind of wanted me to lead into later life in terms of bringing my kids up and all that kind of stuff. And it's not intentional, but subconsciously you kind of want something to get out of that conversation, even with knowledge, someone. Even at something on the street.
I'd question the definition there, because
Yes.
if you'd sat down and gone, well, it's been a bit rainy recently, hasn't it? To me, that's surface level where you're actually not connecting. You had a really, it maybe took a bit of small talk to get you to that lovely conversation with her about, what she was doing. But that conversation itself.
But so the small talk, even to do with the rain and stuff, it kind of, I'd say it is it's like I don't know, it's like a battle kind of thing of power. It's like a power thing of certain people will actually thrive off those conversations because, and this is my the sociology and psychology side of things coming out, but certain people will thrive off it because you'll know that you're a bit more empowered than the other person, or you know that you're not in as much power, and you're talking about certain things that bear no relevance. So people then on the animal instinct side of things going, well, I'm more in power here. You're talking about the rain, and it's a bit awkward. Like you feel a bit awkward around me. Then you try and you either engage or you don't engage. Then so you can then make that person feel better with the conversation, or you can not and just ignore them.
There's a real difference between going up to someone and saying like, you know, how are you today, or how about this, and going up to someone saying, I've done this, because like that kind of, you're taking the power away in the conversation and saying this is about, I just actually want to hear myself talk. Whereas actually that person who's coming up to you and saying, how about the weather, is trying to get you to talk about something.
Is it really like that? Yeah. I felt like a therapist many times in this country. I'm sorry to say that, but when I'm doing these things, just like, what about you? And then half an hour listening to the information that I will never, ever want to possess.
Can we pinpoint what postcodes they were in? Because there are probably more areas where people are a bit more depressed and morbid than there are areas. But no, it's true. Do you know, like, so where was it? Because you live in Shipley, right? Are more people depressed in Shipley?
We're not going to name and shame good people at Shipley now. We're not having that.
The guy from Sheffield, okay, tells me that Shipley is super happy place, okay? We're all running around naked, screaming that we are fine, and then we'll go to pub.
Well, I've seen certain people in Shipley, so if I saw them naked running around, I'd be depressed. So
exactly. No, but I will drop something controversial again for you guys to reflect on that. How I see it when I came here. Maybe it's a little bit of a rough take, but I'm just saying, okay.
But be specific.
During
Leeds.
the day,
sorry, just to jump in.
Leeds.
Yeah, when you first came here from Ukraine.
Yorkshire. Shipley, the happiest place on earth.
But would you say, in the first instance, you know, that first period that you were settling into the UK in Leeds, would you say that you found British people a bit cold then and not as open?
Not cold. I would call it fake warm.
Fake warm? Bloody hell.
Sorry. Again, it's not people in this room, maybe, and maybe like a half of our listeners are not like that. But some people, and then you just build in that whole impression. You know, when I met Ben, I was just like, that's my dude.
That's warm someone, British.
Yeah, that's that's someone
that's
I can
British.
talk to, because there is something real in this person.
Genuine, sincere.
There are so many of us, and we're all so different. And some people will use that really insincerely. Some people will use it because I don't care what you're saying, so I'm just going to rattle along. And then you've got some people who struggle in a social situation, so we'll use that to connect. I mean, kind of, as you were talking, I was kind of thinking of, I remember the thing that came up with a friend of mine who's Polish, and she said, every time I tell a story, you have a story that's kind of the same. And it's like you just want your turn to talk. And it kind of made me think about that. And I was like, I'm not just giving you an empty story. I'm trying to show you that I get what you're saying. And
so making it relatable.
This is a relatable thing. And I wonder, kind of openly to the room, whether sometimes small talk is just you going like, I don't have anything to give, but I want to show you that I'm here. So, and
do you think, sorry, just to jump in, Ben, do you think, obviously I know you now and I don't think this, but do you think that she interpreted that as, have you ever heard toppers? So you're having a conversation with someone and they always want to top what you're saying.
Yes.
I
do you think she interpreted the cards? Top trumps. No,
it's also a sailing boat if we want to go posh, so hey.
But toppers, you know, you're familiar with the term, right?
Yeah, no, I know the term, yeah.
So you're having a conversation with someone, you're talking about something you've done in the south of France. Oh, I went to the south of Spain, I did it was more expensive. Do you know what I mean? It's always constantly trying to top you. Do you think she interpreted it as that?
But that's exactly what Sasha's saying, right? Is in the sense that, like, you will get some people who are doing it earnestly, and then you see these people in the pub who are not. And it's actually picking those people apart, because they might be your people. You just, you've no way of knowing when they're sticking to that. Like
exactly, the God is so high.
The God or God?
God. Shield.
Shield.
I'm not being a prick, by the way. We've agreed to this.
He isn't. No. So my question is, basically, you probably feel the pressure that you have to talk to some great producer right now to have that small talk of the year, because that's going to define your relationship.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Well, networking's a big thing in the industry. You've got to network. It's just trying to utilize your day and the time that you've got make sure that you're having conversations with the right people at the right times, and then obviously not messing it up as well. But I do think you definitely need to build the groundwork. You can't just go in like dry. Do you know what I mean? And just try and get something out of the conversation, going right. I want to work with you over this, that, and the other. You can't. This is the thing. This is probably a British thing. You can't just be honest and just be point blank and go, I want you to produce my next film.
How people do this, how they create that hook
Yeah.
in the conversation.
Or just finding something weird in the room and just mentioning it, and then you just try and find a bit of humor. Like, you know what I mean? The worst thing is if you don't smoke, because you've got nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
It's hard. Even if you stood at the bar and you're waiting, it's taking for ages. You know what I mean? You can make a complaint. Like you go, oh God, how long have you been studying for? Do you know what I mean? You just straight away you're talking to someone.
Yeah, I can imagine Sasha looking at time. I've been here for 16 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Taking it literal. But I would say, Jay's bang on the money with bringing in a bit of humour in. So when I'm networking, you know, I've refined my small talk pitch to two to three sentences, and I try and make it funny. I think another thing about Yorkshire and just people generally in the north, we are quite self-deprecating, and they don't do that in the south. In London, they're quite, oh yeah, I'll do this. I'm good. So my small talk at networking events is, hi, I'm Hugh. I'm a producer. I've produced over 25 short films, which sounds impressive, but I'd say the first 20 were shit. Then I pause, everyone laughs and smiles.
That's funny.
But then I bring in my credibility and I say that, but the last 5 were a lot better, and they were financed and supported by industry, by the BFI. So I made it a little bit funny, been a bit self-deprecating, but then also I've talked about my, you know, career moments that were quite successful as well.
But you like politeness in England in general.
So when I talk about British culture, you know, because I come from, you know, my parents are immigrants that came to this country many, many years ago. So I am technically British. I do feel British. I don't feel English, I would say, but I feel British. But I'm also Asian as well. I'm from the South Asian region. You know, I'm Kashmiri, Pakistani. So, you know, I've got these two cultures. So I think the way I've approached my life is to pick the best parts from both cultures that I really like. And specifically about British culture, I love the politeness. I don't consider it to be fake. You know, saying to someone, how are you feeling? Or good morning. That might be the first time someone has genuinely asked that person how they're actually feeling. And if you're very genuine, that could make their whole day. You know, I've seen it before when I walk down the street. And I don't want people to think I'm an amazing human being. I'm not. I can be a dick as well sometimes. I was walking past a homeless person. He asked me for money. I just turned around and I said, oh, I'm really sorry, mate. I don't have any cash from me. And his reply was, he just gave me the biggest smile, like genuine, sincere, big smile. I walked off like 4 steps and I was just in my head, like, why has he smiled at me? You know, it threw me off. Went back to him and I said, oh, look, did you hear what I said? I don't have any money. I'm really sorry. He goes, yeah, no, I heard what you said. He goes, you're the first person all day for the last, 6 hours or however long it was, that's actually acknowledged me. And it broke my fucking heart, because what I take for granted to be acknowledged by other human beings, that was a special case for him. That could have been anyone who did it for him. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't being nice or being great. But that's things we take for granted. So that moment was a bit of small talk between me and him. Well, kind of, do you know what I mean? It was in the kind of realms.
You could literally say hi about 6 or 7 times in one day, and it can get repetitive for you. But if you said hi to 6 or 7 people at different times of the day, it's new to them.
I see it more as a distracting thing. I am focused on something and someone is like, takes my mind. But that's very interesting. What do you think, Ben?
For me, it's weirdly reassuring. Like, I'll come back to England, but in France, in a lot of areas in rural France, people just say good morning to each other. And that's kind of just weirdly nice. It's like, we're never going to see each other again. It's just good morning.
So it's complete strangers.
I exist now and you exist and we're friendly to each other.
I wouldn't say it's a small talk because, I came from European. That's a city where people will pass by and say good morning. Because I will tell you why. Because there is a morning outside. And you see good morning, you say good morning, you have a reason. I would call it a code. You guys talk in codes, you say weather, but actually you mean something else.
Yeah, 100%. But I do feel like everything that you say has reason.
Impact.
Every single thing that you like, you've chosen to speak to someone for a certain reason, to either to take your mind off something, or you can see that person is kind of like, you'll see someone stood at sat at a bus stop, and I've not been on a bus for a while, but I'm trying to create a scenario. But you'll see someone just sat there, and if they're like that, and then you have that kind of power of going, I'm just going to try and pick you up a little bit. You then engage in a conversation, or vice versa. You're in a worse state, and you kind of bit stressed out, and then you want to bring someone else into the conversation to try and pick yourself up. Then, but there is always reason behind.
That's what I mean about missing it as well. Is because it's quite an idiosyncratic thing that we do. It's somehow peculiarly British. Like you go away for a while, and you start to weirdly miss that, and you come back, and even though it's surface, and even though it might not go anywhere, it's the fact that you've been perhaps in another city, which is everyone's head down and going along, and no one's talked to you for ages, and then you come. There's a very British problem thing that I really like about being on a train and being next to the door and holding your hand over the button to let everyone else on the carriage know you have everything well in hand. And that's a very British thing. But it's those kind of things when you're in that environment, even if you haven't talked to them, you're like, I actually feel like I'm in a place I'm comfortable in. And weirdly, someone just at the bus stop saying, oh, you're right, love, just makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel like I'm back home because I've grown up with it. Even though it doesn't mean anything, it's something I've grown up with, so it feels comfortable.
Yeah, because that's a code. I'm starting to decipher what's going on here. I'm starting to decipher. Usually I'm getting into a taxi, and the guy asks, he has to, I think, he has to ask, are you all right?
So that's not normal.
The taxi thing though is that's an English small talk that goes nowhere. Anywhere here's fine.
There's a rule of thumb, and I think it's legal law in England. If you get into a taxi, you always ask them.
Busy tonight?
Yeah.
How long you been on?
Yeah. Which is
it's legal law. You know that they put it through Parliament.
The taxi in Ukraine, you're getting in, they will say, I'm actually not a taxi driver.
I'm an entrepreneur. This is a part tell you.
I have
the younger guys
businesses.
tend to do that.
Well, I guess a question for the room, I suppose, is, because this is maybe a weaponized small talk, is if you're in an environment like that, say it's a taxi or it's a train or it's a bus, where you're sat next to someone and you can't go anywhere, and they start spouting off about, like, you know what the problem with this country is, kind of conversation, where you are essentially trapped in a conversation. You don't want to agree with whatever's being presented at you. What then do you do? Do you go back to small talk, or do you try and change your mind?
Okay, so it's interesting, Ben. What I would say, and Jay, your opinion on this is really important as well. From what I'm going to say, I think that's a white on white problem. Do you know you have black and black problem? They use that phrase in America. A white person is not going to say that to me, because anyone who spouts shit like that off, they're usually referring to people like me.
Yeah.
So. And
I've outed myself, basically.
No, you haven't. No, but because you don't look. No, because they're just like, oh, she's a white guy, so I can talk like that and be open. They'll look around before they say it as well. But I normally don't get that. I never get that. So yeah, that's just my opinion. I found that really interesting because I can see why someone would be more comfortable.
I guess same question, but maybe with a different premise. If there's essentially someone who's disgruntled about something, that you don't find to be a problem, like how do you deal with, because you don't know them.
I always join in. I'm doing a job that's benefiting me, no one else. I get people love what I'm doing and work. That's for my own benefit. It's not from anyone else's. Obviously, people are watching it. It makes people feel good, but that's on the surface. Like deep down, it's for my own benefit, and I see what I'm doing as a platform to obviously help other people, and even if you're not on this platform, you having a conversation with someone is the best way of keeping that legacy going.
I think the most common conversation I've had with taxi drivers is you get into a taxi and they ask you kind of, what do you do? What are you about? And then you tell them kind of what you do, and they're like, oh, I want to get into that. How'd you get into that? Yeah. And then suddenly you're kind of saying, well, I don't really give career tips, but this is how it kind of maybe works. And then suddenly it's like, actually, like for both of you, it's been really interesting. And that's maybe the use of small talk there, is that actually if I start a conversation with you about how brilliant I am.
But actually you want to show your CV. So that's why I feel that fakeness. It's like, okay, so
Ease us
get
into it.
to the point.
Yeah, because your
okay.
culture, would you say Ukrainian culture, Slavic culture in general, is quite direct in terms of communication?
Of course, I think that that's a quite famous thing, but I just want also to decipher it, that like it doesn't mean that we're just barking on each other all the time. And as I mentioned, you know, like we say good morning and stuff, but if there is no reason, if there is no reason really.
If it's a bad morning, don't talk to me.
If it's, well, you know, unfortunately, a lot of bad mornings right now happening in Ukraine, which is also a very interesting thing because people started to talk more during the war.
Well, help bring
Because
people together.
That's
yeah.
helping. Like,
Yeah,
how are you doing? How are you
solidarity.
doing? How are you doing?
Yeah,
How are you doing? Because everybody is
Yeah.
stressed out. But again, a huge reason is there. So
Would you describe yourself as introverted more so than extroverted? Because, in my opinion, and I've known you years now, I would consider you quite an extroverted person, and you are very charismatic when you meet new people. So now that I've listening to you talk, that's something that you've got to put on, and it's a bit of an effort. But it comes across very natural in real life as an outside observer. But maybe people are matching your energy. When you come in, la 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 la. You know.
Yeah, but that's also the state of the soul, you know. Like I always try to be happy.
So my business partner's Spanish, and when he first started working in the UK, it would stress him out because Spanish people are quite direct as well. You know, they tell it how it is. They're quite passionate people, and he embodies that stereotype of Spanish people tenfold. And you know, we started working with commercial clients. You know, delivering video commercials and promo videos and stuff like that. And so you get to a stage where you deliver the film to the client, and it's a review process, and they give feedback and notes. And verbally, he was told from the client that it was interesting. And he looks at me, he looks at the client, looks at me, and I can just tell in his eyes, he's like, what the fuck does that mean? Because, in the UK, British, you can say that's interesting. It means three things.
Yeah.
It's literally interesting, so they find it quite fascinating.
Yeah.
That's interesting means that's shit, but I don't want to be rude and tell you that. Or that's interesting, that's fucking excellent, I'm really glad that, the way it's turned out.
Isn't it a disaster?
Well, yeah, for him it was a disaster. It really pissed him off, and he would after that. It happened so many times that he was like, "No, you deal with that part of the process."
There was a director we used to have at Leeds Art Centre who he'd watch a show and you'd say, "How do you like it?" And he'd go into all the different things that he really enjoyed about it. If he didn't enjoy a play, he'd just come down and he'd go, "Well, I could see everyone was working very hard," and that was code for I hated every moment of that.
I use small talk to kind of make other people feel not uncomfortable. Make other people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like first meeting someone, especially like
to enable you to get to the point where you.
Yeah. So then it's especially at work. So like if I'm sat in the makeup chair or we're going through checks and stuff like that and costume, and you make small talk so someone feels comfortable, and it kind of I like to dumb myself down a little bit. So people don't feel like I've got an ego or any kind of personality that's going to kind of be conflicted to them, and they feel uncomfortable about speaking to me at any point. So I'll bring up something that's absolutely pointless. Like I've talked about, I play with my belly button at times. I've talked about stuff like that, like weird, random things that they go, like like it just makes someone laugh, or it's just. It's an awkward conversation, but it then takes the mindset off something else. So we could be busy working. There could be pressure around it. You take that pressure off by talking about something random, and then you can be real. You can be truthful. You can be honest.
A lot of my day job is online, and I think people say and do things online with that level of security behind them that they're not in the room with you, that you'd never say in front of someone. But the other thing about small talk is, like. There are people I've worked with for the last 10 years who I've never been in the same room with. Yeah. And actually, weirdly, online, you need that small talk in a weird way even more, because it's like, I've never actually been in the room with you. So I don't know how to connect with you.
Yeah, it is a connecting side of things. And obviously, it's even worse, if you're doing Zooms and stuff, you've got to try and keep someone's attention. So you can say certain things, especially if it's a work call. you can use the small talk to make sure that you've got someone's engagement. Because if you go off topic and then try and get someone's reaction from talking about, I know we keep mentioning about the weather or something that makes them react to that story, you know that you've got their attention. Because if you're sat on a Zoom call, you know for a fact that your attention's gone that way, that way. You never really engage. It's hard unless you're actually face to face with someone to kind of keep their attention.
And it's
throughout.
inclusive, because I work with people all around the world, some of whom I haven't experienced their culture, I don't know their background. But everyone's experienced the weather. And actually, weirdly, they use it as a way to talk to me, because they're like, he's British. He'll want to talk about the weather. So I'll open with that. And it makes them more comfortable. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about the weather, but I will accept this because it's got us going.
So I got involved in the kinship charity. It was through Look North. So I think it was Look North. I had basically had an interview that was covering kinship, and at the time I had no understanding of what kinship was and what it was there for, and the charity itself focuses on emotional help in terms of getting yourself, because obviously kinship carers have been through something with themselves as a family member's passed away, and they or whatever, family members gone through something, so they've then had to take over and look after someone else's child that's part of the family, but they don't get emotional support and they don't get financial support. And this conversation was to try and highlight that. And obviously,
the support you mean from like government and council?
Yeah. So similar to what foster carers will receive emotional support and financial support in terms of being given a certain allowance to raise this child and look after this child, whereas kinship carers don't. Kinship carers, it's all to do with the love, and they basically expect them to look after these children just due to the fact that they're a family member, which is difficult.
Because there's love there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's always love there with the family member, but it's still a financial burden.
Yeah. So
it's an emotional thing too. Like you're still on your own.
Yes. So my tie with that was when I was 4 years old. My mum was killed in a car crash. My dad wasn't in a position, because he was in and out of jail. He wasn't in a position to look after me. So my nan and granddad took my dad to court and basically tried fighting for custody over me. They spent all their money, obviously, on the court fees. My dad got it all for free because it was paid for by the government, because he couldn't afford to. And obviously, Dad didn't give up, so my nan and granddad paid more money to get custody of me. Won eventually, but then we're really struggling financially to support me. The thing is, I always say this, but it's not even just to do with the kinship side of things. I think, like I've mentioned it before, we all carry a purpose, and no one should be forgotten about. Like there's certain, like when I worked at the school, there's certain I'll watch an individual and I know for a fact that they've got a trait that's incredible, and it's nowhere near like even close to being similar to that person sat there, but they've got as much of a gift as that person sat there, and they should be nurtured. They should be able to get to where they want to be, and just because of their history and just because of what is kind of stopping them doesn't allow them to get to where they need to be.
There's a judgment there already.
Yeah, and there is obviously hidden. I know for a fact that there's hidden reasons behind the fact that they're letting people fall down the cracks, because it allows that divide to stay there. But we should all be valued as much as anyone else. Like, bearing in mind that every kid and every individual that goes through adversity ends up becoming more of a strong and thick-skinned person to actually be resilient and push themselves to where they are. It's more interesting talking to someone who's been through something than someone who's been through nothing
and been pampered. And
Well, because you've got the drive there, haven't you? Like...
My mum and dad are getting old now, and it's made me realise that I have this opportunity to spend golden time with them, because one of the biggest regrets, they did a survey of 100 people dying on their deathbed, and one of the biggest regrets was, the top 10 was not spending enough time with your loved ones. Because when your parents are passed, that's it. The things you wanted to say to them, the things you wanted to express, the things, that's gone. You're never going to have that chance again. So I try and make as much time with my parents as I do. And so I ring my mum and dad up every night now, and I have small talk with them. And for them, it's joyful. They love it. It's really meaningful. Now all I'm asking is, how was your day? What did you have to eat today? Did you go out? Who did you meet? You're staying out of the sun, you know, and it is very much small talk, but
Yeah.
it means a lot, you know, because it's
It's a
consistent.
deeper meaning.
I'm completely sincere when I'm asking, when answering the question. I'm really genuinely listening, and I think small talk, like Jay was saying, you know, it could be a tool for different things. You know,
Because,
with
Absolutely.
my mum, we have small talk because it's giving her a break. She's so busy dealing with everyone else's problems and picking up all this stuff and looking after people. She's got family members on the phone just losing their mind over something. So when she talks to me and we just talk about what's gone on with the day, it's like, oh, good, this isn't a problem I have to fix. It's just something I can relax into.
yes,
If my dad calls me, somebody's died.
Oh.
Nobody, like the first time he rang me after he retired,
He's a killer.
he rang me and said, hi, how are you doing? What are you up to today? And I was like, you bastard, I thought someone had gone.
yeah,
Like,
because it's a big occasion if your dad rings you. Like,
suddenly he,
Wow.
but now suddenly he
Yeah,
does
true.
small talk. He does small talk now,
Yeah.
but he never did before.
Could you imagine there is a zombie apocalypse? Okay.
Can they run or walk?
are they
Sorry?
fast
Are they
zombies or
fast
slow
zombies
zombies?
or
They're
slow
fast
zombies?
zombies. I feel
If they're slow, I'm not really that phased.
Okay, there is zombies attacking you, okay? So
Okay.
just imagine that. So anyway, you have only us three left, okay?
Commiserations.
Someone has to become your sidekick that you trust, okay? Someone has to guard you from zombies because it's just impossible. But probably that person will be killed, to be honest. But it's a good God, right?
God.
It's a good
God.
person to to protect you, okay?
Okay.
Shield you.
Someone is a sidekick.
God.
Someone is your God, but probably will be killed.
Straight away.
Valiantly
You
defending
know.
you.
Oh my God, God.
Third person is probably and almost definitely will become zombie, and it was killing it already. So you just killing straight away.
Just a
this person.
sacrifice.
Yeah, you must have a choice.
Right, well, I've gone with God,
Mostly because he's going to die, I think, I feel.
sidekick, and then what's the last one?
Didn't even blink.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh my God, that was fast.
Say you're going to vote reform without saying you're going to vote for reform. It's Jay's answer.
No.
There you go. It's easy, isn't it?
That was fast
That
and
was very
fun.
fast.
What did you? Was that supposed to be difficult?
Sometimes it's
See,
difficult for people.
This
to
no.
make a
This
choice.
is the thing for me. I like to be clear and concise, honest, straight down the line. Don't waste any time. I mean,
That was the
Love
no
it.
small talk version of that
Love
game.
it.
That was what
I
that
love
was.
it.
yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Jay. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching the podcast episode of Sasha Gets F All. Hopefully you enjoyed it and hopefully see you next time. Bye for now.